You are alone in a room. The door is closed. No one else is home, and yet, something at the back of your neck tightens. Your eyes drift to the corner. Your body shifts without you deciding to shift it. Tell yourself, it is nothing. But your brain is already convinced that something is there. And here is the part that should unsettle you. Your brain might not be wrong. This feeling has a name. Researchers call it the sense of presence. It is not a glitch. It is not anxiety. It is not your imagination misfiring in a quiet room. It is one of the oldest, most precisely engineered systems in the human brain, running exactly as it was designed to run. And understanding why it exists will change how you think about every moment you have ever felt it. Start with the mechanism. Your brain is not a passive receiver of information. It is a prediction machine. Every second you are awake, it is building a model of the world around you, where objects are, where threats are, where other living things are. Neuroscientist Olaf Blanke at the École Polytechnique Fédérale de Lausanne has spent years studying what happens when that model breaks down. In 2014, his team published research in the journal Current Biology that revealed something extraordinary. When the brain receives conflicting signals about the location of your own body, it fills the gap with a presence. It invents someone standing near you, not as a hallucination, as a prediction. The brain decides the most logical explanation for the data it is receiving is that another body is there. Think about that. The feeling you have had your whole life, the creeping certainty that someone is behind you in an empty room, that is your brain doing exactly what it is supposed to do. It is running its most important algorithm, the one that kept your ancestors alive. Because in the environment your brain was built for, that feeling was rarely wrong. For the vast majority of human history, your ancestors did not live in empty rooms with closed doors. They lived in open terrain, in dense forests, in darkness punctuated only by fire. And in those environments, other living things were everywhere. Predators that moved without sound, rival humans who approached without warning, the individuals who felt that prickling sense of presence, who turned around before they knew why, who trusted the signal before the evidence arrived. Those were the ones who survived. The ones who ignored it did not. This is called Hyperactive Agency Detection, which is just a fancy way of saying your brain is hardwired to be paranoid. Evolution taught us that it's better to mistake a shadow for a person than to mistake a person for a shadow. If you guess wrong and think a bush is a monster, you just look silly. If you guess wrong and think a monster is a bush, you're dead. Your brain would rather play it safe and scare you over nothing because a false alarm cost you nothing. But a missed warning cost you your life. You inherited that bias, and it runs constantly, even now. In 2018, researchers at the University of Sussex, led by Andy Clark, published work on what they call predictive processing, the idea that your brain is always generating a model of reality and then updating it based on incoming information. Most of the time, the model matches the world and you feel normal, but in certain conditions, low light, silence, fatigue, isolation, the incoming information thins out. The signal weakens. And when the signal weakens, your brain does not go quiet. It fills the silence with its best guess, and almost every time is that something is present. This is why the feeling intensifies at night. This is why it spikes in unfamiliar places. This is why it hits hardest when you are already anxious or sleep-deprived. Your brain is running its threat detection system at full power precisely when the environment gives it the least data to work with. It is not malfunctioning, it is compensating. It is doing the most rational thing an irrational-looking brain can do. Now consider what people have believed about this feeling across all of recorded history. Every culture on Earth has a name for it. The Japanese call it Satori no Mai, the presence before awareness. Indigenous traditions across North America describe it as the feeling of being watched by something that lives in the space between the physical world and the next. In West African spiritual traditions, this sensation is considered contact, not malfunction. Medieval European accounts are filled with descriptions of felt presences in empty rooms, interpreted as angels, demons, the souls of the dead. Not one of these traditions invented the experience. They all inherited it, from the same source, from a brain that has been generating this signal for as long as humans have existed. Ernest Shackleton, during his near-fatal Antarctic expedition in 1916, wrote about a persistent feeling that a fourth person was walking alongside his three-man party when no such person existed. Others in extreme survival conditions have reported the same thing, a calm, felt presence, something beside them in the emptiness. Researchers now believe this is the brain's response to extreme stress and sensory deprivation, the predictive system working so hard to protect you that it generates a companion out of nothing. Your brain would rather invent company than accept that you are alone and unprotected. So the next time you feel it, that tightening at the back of the neck, the eyes pulling toward a corner, the body shifting before the mind catches up, you are not imagining things. You are receiving a signal that is older than language, older than fire, older than every story ever told about ghosts or spirits or things that watch from the dark. You are feeling the output of a system that has protected your bloodline for 200,000 years.